Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is another collective reading because today is the full moon in Capricorn. So, just one day after the June solstice, when the sun enters Cancer, now we have this opposition between sun and moon. So, the moon in Capricorn facing the sun in Cancer, we have the full moon in Capricorn. Yeah, because it is a collective reading, I'm doing it with my big combined deck of tarot cards and astrological oracle cards. So you see both of them here in your reading today. Um, and there are some particularities to this message today that actually ties in to the recent readings that I did. So the couple of readings prior to this one. So the Gemini and the solstice reading. That are here, they are present here. But it's very empowering in order to, it's like in order for you to know, right, as you know, an individual part of this collective, that you are able to guide yourself in terms of knowing where to go, and especially where to stay. It's like, where do you need to stay right now? It feels like you are, it's like taking ownership of the place that you're standing right now, because that is the guidance coming from your own self. And it's not even the higher self. And that's the interesting thing here, because generally when we think of receiving guidance is typically from, a higher entity, your higher self, a higher dimensional being, God or angels, or however you want to see that. But in this case, I feel like this guidance is coming from yourself. And it's interesting because like there is this key word that is patience. And it's also something that was coming through yesterday in the solstice reading about it's like being patient enough to know that there is a process undergoing, right? This learning process. So there is no need to hurry, right? Just picking up from the solstice reading. So we're beginning actually this collective for the full moon, this reading for the full moon, with two cards instead of just one, which is the guidance, right? The guidance coming from your own self, not the higher self, but like the human consciousness, I want to say, that is being represented by the Knight of Pentacles to the Page of Wands, which is, it's almost like the ego, right? Which is a little bit more fiery. It's a little bit more I don't know if that's the right word, but it's what I'm hearing. Combustive, combustive. I think that's the way to say it. It's a little bit more agitated, right? So there's a lot of movement here in the Page of Wands, but this one is bringing this guidance of being patient, right? So I want to say that this is an internal conversation, maybe with the side of you that is excited for something, and another side of you that is more grounded, right? And it's almost like, because it's the page, because it's the knight, right? They're not yet, as matured, let's say, as the queen or the king, or even, to the major arcana realm. It feels like this is a process that it might repeat itself from time to time, right? And here it's happening again. Maybe something that caused you to become more excited or more anxious or more agitated or even more creative, right? It doesn't need to be something negative or something that pulls you down or that drains your energy. It could be something that just excites you and moves your energy, right? Just it's like it stimulates you to create or to do something with this energy. But it's almost like, don't be too hasty, don't be too premature about this, right? It's like, have patience, because it's almost like here in this realm there are, again, picking up from the I think it was the Gemini reading that was talking about, moments to proceed forward, to continue, but also moments to just stop and consider, right? Allow the information to sink in. And here is what I'm seeing, right, with the Five of Pentacles. Yes, there is this objective, there is this goal, there is this place to be, there is this destiny, right? The X on the map that I often see with the Five of Pentacles. But today the guidance that is coming from your higher self in the form of your body, right? Because it's still the higher self, it's just expressed in the human, as a human being, right? So, you know it's so tricky to describe it, because it's not the higher self connecting with you directly, but it's communicating to you through your body, through the limitations of your circumstances, the practical side of life. So the Five of Pentacles here is talking about just being where you are, right? Taking this ownership of how it's like how integral you are already, right? It's like the Five of Pentacles to me also represents integrity, but if you feel like this, and it's also tying to the, what was it? I think it was yesterday's extended talking about, yeah, it was talking about this mid-heaven, right? It was such a beautiful message in the extended yesterday, talking about like, always projecting this image of heaven, or, this heaven-like place, always far away. But yesterday it was very clear that, you know, the collective is already mid heaven, right? Is already in the middle of it. And I feel like this is kind of like this reassurance, right? But coming from it's like your human vessel, right? It's like the wisdom, the embodied empirical wisdom that you have already acquired from your own lived experience, from your own, it's like life lessons in a sense, right? In this earthly realm, that it's like you know exactly how to take ownership of this integrity, when you need to stay where you are, and when you need to take this Five of Pentacles and make this X on a map and go there, go somewhere, right? So it feels like this, not exactly a polarity or a duality or even a paradox. It's just, again, the tides, right? It was talking about the cycles that, sometimes we are on top, sometimes we are below. It doesn't really matter. It's like it's the same thing. It's just a matter of perspective. Here's the same thing. Both of you are representing, both of these cards are representing you, right? The one that is excited, that wants to move, that is just very creative, that is very, it's like it's very spontaneous, right? In moving wherever the instinct guides, but also perhaps very naive, or very not exactly inexperienced, because there is this part of you that is a little bit experienced. So this is the part that is taking charge when your naivety wants to step in and just guide you, right? So there is this blend between the two sides of you that are both learning, right? And learning from one another, learning and taking cues from one another. It's not that they are against each other or anything like that. Actually, it's beautiful how it's coming through. Remember the integrity card, right? So the card that shows you the moment that you need to stay, the moment that you need to go. Both of these cards are also here, these two aspects of yourself. So it's almost like the blending of the two, the flow between the excitement but also the groundedness, right? It's like the patience to know when is the time to wait, when is the time to go. And so it feels like this is how you really take ownership of this integrity. This is how you, it's like, this is how you know that you are exactly where you need to be, wherever you are, whenever it is happening, right? It's like you know that you are exactly in the right place at the right time. So there is this important guidance coming from your own self. Again, it is your higher self. It's just that it's like it's a portion of your higher self that is embodied, right? I hope that makes sense. So, here, after you take ownership of this integrity and you realize that, you are exactly where you need to be, another knight shows up, which is actually giving me this impression that there are moments where you do feel grounded wherever you are, but I want to say that this one is coming through as kind of like a buzzing bee. It's actually kind of like a distraction, right? It's like this very active mind that whatever appears wherever you are, it feels like, a sign. It feels like, a synchronicity. It feels like your mind is saying, okay, go there. It's now time to move. But I want to say that it's not entirely true. I want to say that it's like the moment that you learn how to deal with your own naivety or your own impulses, right? It's like these creative impulses that might be too premature, right? Once you, it's not exactly tempering them or taming them, but it's more, um, it's like enjoying the path, right? Not rushing into anything or not making any hasty decisions ahead of time, because you know that wherever you are, wherever you go, you are in the right place because you hold this integrity within your being. And so, yes, your mind is like, sometimes it might show up as offering some sort of shortcut or trick, or kind of like this interesting sign, right? That it might be interpreted as, the it's like the moment to go, the cue for you to leave or for you to stay, right? So it's again this blending of moments where you feel like you are ready to go, moments where you feel like you're ready to stay, right? Or that you are okay if you stay. And I want to say that whenever these apparent distractions or apparent signs, if you're not sure, if you're not entirely certain about these signs, whether or not they are giving you the right direction, trust the map. So it's interesting because here we have the X on the map, and here we have a card from the Astrological Oracle deck that shows the birth chart, the mandala, right? So everybody since birth carries this birth chart. So it's unique to every single human being. But as part of a collective, we all have the same map, the same compass, right? And so here, it feels like you're going to know, right? You are a smart person, a smart individual. You have your ability to adapt to the situation as it's needed in terms of using aspects of sides of you to better suit that situation or to better serve you in a moment, right? So it's not okay. So that's also something important. It's not because you are grounded that you are putting off your fire or that you are extinguishing your creativity. It's nothing like that. It's just that it's like you have this power to calibrate the fire or to use the inspiration, use the curiosity, use the movement and the excitement, but without leading with like with this innocence or this naivety, right? So here's the map, right? It's like there is this map that leads, I want to say, to the center of who you are. And that's where the integrity is as well. So that's when you know that, if your mind is becoming like this buzzing bee, right? It's full of distractions or, full of different signs that are overwhelming you, perhaps. Maybe you need to shield yourself so that you have like this specific focus, right? And in looking to your map, looking to this compass, looking maybe to even to your astrological birth chart, if you are interested in astrology to guide you in that way, you know, it's interesting because it's coming through as like a general map, a general compass, but maybe for some, right, it wants to be specific as like, this astrological map, right? This astrological birth chart, this astrological compass. So guide yourself, maybe, just being an astrologer myself, today being this full moon in Capricorn after the solstice, perhaps just look in your chart just as, a quick guidance for you if you are interested in astrology and looking into your birth chart in that way. Check these two signs, Cancer and Capricorn, where they fall into your birth chart. And depending on the houses, that perhaps you will have the clear direction, right? Because it's almost like if there is this polarity, if there is this indication that, maybe you're split between staying or going, either way, you know that you are exactly where you need to be if you choose to stay or if you choose to go. I want to say that perhaps there are some clues in your birth chart if you look to those signs and where they fall in your map, right? In your birth chart. So look for that, just as, a quick side note in regards to astrology. So, but the other thing is that, yes, the map is here, the X on the map, or the ability to just draw the X on the map is here, is in your hands, right? And you seem to have the ability to also distinguish from those things that apparently are more distractions than useful information, right? So look within, right? Look to your own inner guidance. You are already following that own inner guidance. So continuing to move in the direction that you hear from your own guidance is key, right? Because it will prevent you from feeling like whatever choice you make, it's not the best one. And what I mean by that is because the Five of Wands is coming after this birth chart, and it's talking about, whether you choose to stay or whether you choose to go, there is a little bit of this restlessness that starts to just creep up on you, right? It's like the fire that starts to be ignited, whether you choose one thing or the other. It's almost like if you look to your own birth chart, to your own compass, it's like you're going to have more clarity and you won't need to because the restlessness is also serving a purpose. It's serving a purpose of, it's like kicking your butt, right? It's like moving you if you need to move, or slowing you down and just allowing you to be where you are, right? So it's like it's the incentive, right? But it's like if you don't need to get to this point where things become agitated, it's like you can resolve this before it becomes a conflict. You see what I mean? Just a second. Sorry. Okay. So back to this avoidable, I want to say, inner conflict. It doesn't need to get to the point that it becomes uncomfortable to make a decision to stay or go. I want to say that it's going to be very clear to you, especially because next we have Neptune, also from the Astrological Oracle deck, which is this spiritual antenna, right? It is this guidance. It's like, you asking to receive guidance and receiving it. So here, you might have been trusting yourself so that you knew what to do or where to go, right? Trusting maybe your own instincts, but also it's like the need to feel safe, the need to be grounded with yourself, with your choices, with, your life in general. But here with Neptune, this is where I feel like this guidance from above, or maybe like this higher realms, it's like this is finally when it reaches you, or at least when you, it's like you're reclaiming it, right? Because whenever I see Neptune, and it happens more often than not, to be honest, I'm seeing like this part of the symbol as like, open arms, just up to the sky, and just asking, right? Just, being open to receive. And so this is what I'm seeing. It's like you're finally, and maybe, okay, so that's interesting thing also coming from the Five of Wands. Maybe the discomfort, maybe the conflict, maybe the annoying nuisance that is starting to creep up because maybe you didn't check your astrology, maybe you didn't check what's happening in the skies, or what's the events that are going to guide, and maybe it's like coordinate the movement with this map or within this map, right? The chart, or however you feel like you receive this guidance to move. It's like, yes, this might start to appear or to show itself in one way or another. Maybe it could be just anxiety, it could be just like this restlessness that is just starting to become more and more unavoidable, right? Or just like perceivable. But and maybe, as I said, it's like maybe this is also the incentive for you to really know that, yes, if you go check not only the map itself, but the ability that you have, with the information that you have, with the integrity that you hold within yourself, to make that X, to make that mark and go there or stay there, right? And so here you are, with that incentive, reclaiming your own spiritual guidance, your own power. Because as I said, this is an expression of your higher self. It is just in a more constricted version or in a limited perspective, right? Because it's contained within the limitations of the human body or the human consciousness. But here with Neptune, it feels like it has no more limits or no more boundaries. It's so open, it's so wide. It gives you this it's like this upper view, right? This zoomed out view of the map, right? Of, the terrain or what's up ahead for you. And so here, when you do put your arms to the sky and you are, asking for help, you are reclaiming your own spirituality, you are, asking to connect, really, right? The moon, which is the card that has been coming up lately a lot, right? And I have only done 2 readings before this one, um, after the my trip. So the moon has been very predominant, right, in the readings. And, of course, we have the full moon today, so it's very coherent with the energy. But what this card has been bringing up to the readings recently is the fact that the moon is here to put you to sleep, right? So that in this sleep or in that twilight zone, you can access your subconscious. You can access that part that has not been visited or has not been awake in a sense, right? It's like it's awaking the dormant part of your mind, of your consciousness. So being put to sleep, it's actually almost like the reversal of what we expect, right? It's like being put to sleep in this case, in this reading, it's actually the opposite of falling asleep. It's actually awakening to the subconscious. I hope that makes sense. So, but the fascinating thing is that I do feel like this is almost like this it's like this search for some sort of sign, right? Because here you are receiving signs, but you're not exactly sure whether or not they are true, right? Or whether or not they are complete or if they are just distractions, right? Um, so here you are connecting with, your own spirit, your own higher guidance, and turning to the moon in the night sky, right? Because it's like this is perhaps maybe you're doing like this ritual for the full moon, maybe you did a ritual for the solstice, but here you are being put to sleep by the moon because it's now the moon is granting you, since you asked, this access to the subconscious. And I do feel like the moon is not alone, to be honest, because the bottom of the deck is the star. So it's almost like these heavenly bodies is what I'm hearing right now, to connect with yesterday's extended, right? Being mid heaven. These heavenly bodies, these celestial beings, they are here to guide you. They are the guidance that perhaps um, it's like you it's like it's higher than what you have been receiving from your own self, right? I don't know if you've done this, but I for sure did with myself, and I do it very often. Like I talk to myself in my own mind. I don't know if that's strange or not, but it is what it is. So whenever I have these internal conversations, I am associating this with the Knight of Pentacles, right? So it's almost like this cautionary type of like grounding advice, right? Coming from my own body. But these types of guides or entities or celestial heavenly bodies, they are actually granting you more guidance. I want to say maybe more mysterious and more um, unconscious type of knowledge, right? And that's the fascinating thing also. Like I don't really know, I cannot see what it is yet, at least. So I am going to pull more cards to see if I can see more of this moon, or what you're going to access once you've been put to sleep, once your subconscious is awake, or it's like at least you can understand the message of these bodies, right? These celestial bodies. So yeah, we'll see. So, together with the cards in the extended, I'm going to pull from the astrological runes. So, if you want to join me there, I'll be very, very happy to see you there. You can find link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Bye.